Okay, I am back. Hello, Mom Patch. I see Mom Patch is in the hazmat suit too. Great. I am back. Yes, I am back. And as you can see from my icon as well, I've also my chat icon, at least my stream icon, has not updated for some reason. Dispatch. uh, what the heck, man? But anyways, yeah. Take the proper precautions. Obviously, don't try and reduce travel if you can. Even though I'm going out of town myself soon, so who knows? I may end up catching it. so so this is kind of a scary thing right now with this whole Wuhan thing, and you're getting this is the other thing about the information or disinformation or misinformation that's going on. We're just gonna pick up where I left off because I don't know how many people could hear. My stream was cutting. I was losing a lot of frames and everything was not going well. Um, Sorry, just reading what Mom Patch is writing. But anyways, so briefly recapping what I said before in the case, when people were trying to listen to me and I was having some difficulties here. Essentially, there's a lot of information that's coming out from this, and some of it's coming from China, some of it's coming from other organizations. So you're hearing a lot of misinformation and a lot of like the press. There was a press conference, believe it was today, actually, about this, where it got pushed like by a half hour or so because there was a confirmed case in the vicinity. Um, they are like praising China's efforts and blah blah. And I'm sure there's going to be a lot of misinformation and maybe some information that's propaganda coming out of China. You never know. That's the thing. So you have to be very cautious about the data that's coming out of it. Try and find neutral information, kind of like what I'm looking at here, just factual data about spread. This has maps, which is really cool as well. So I think it's a good source to look at here. Like here you have the maps of what's going on in the world. And you got some purple in here. You got some pretty big concentrations. Yikes. It seems like South America is the only place right now that really. Whoops, I kind of zoomed out there. Nothing in Africa, nothing in South America. I don't think Canada has any yet. Iceland either, and Greenland doesn't have anything either. But yeah, and the problem is that it seems like this disease is transmissible even if you're asymptomatic, which makes it difficult for people who like they feel fine, they travel, they expose themselves to other people, and then next thing you know, they became Typhoid Mary. So it can be a big mess. It can definitely be a big mess. So I say everyone, please take precautions. Be careful out there, kids. You don't want to get sick. There is a confirmed case in Brazil. Oh, so this is not updated. Dora the Storm are giving the latest and breaking news here. So there's a confirmed case in Brazil by the health minister. Wow. Okay. South America is no longer the safe haven. Sorry, kids. I guess no more. We're not gonna do the the carnival out in Brazil this year. Wow. Yeah, everyone to Africa. Everyone to Africa. Everyone to Africa. No, so did they just update this? I was just looking at the map. Hold on, let me refresh the page here. Stand by. There we go. See, they have the whole timeline too on this website. It's actually like really, really thorough. This is why I like looking at this website. It's a very good source. I would recommend to everybody to take a look at this here. See, that's weird. They're not showing in the international list here. I'm not seeing I'm not seeing Brazil or anything like that. That's my map's not freaking loading here. I don't know what's going on. There we go. Yeah, I'm not seeing anything come through right now. It hasn't updated yet. So that's weird. Hmm. Yeah, I'm not seeing anything for Brazil. As you can see here, nothing's popping up in this area. So weird. Very, very weird. I'm not seeing anything for that right now. So we'll just keep an eye on this, and we'll keep the map up here for the moment. Well, no, actually, I'll just remove it. We don't need to keep it up there for now. Um, so there are three major topics that I wanted to just kind of touch upon. Um, One of the biggest things is in T minus 3 hours or so. Well, actually, they're about 5 or 6 hours ahead. It's already midnight, past midnight in the UK. Brexit, it happened. I think. Any Brit bongs out there can give me some news on that. Let me know what's going on. I haven't heard anything. Why am I getting some like feedback in my headphones? That's weird. I don't know where it's coming from. I don't know if it's coming from the microphone stand or it's coming from something else. That's kind of goofy. Not sure. I'm still experimenting with this because I just got it. But yeah, so Brexit finally happened. There was this whole thing that Nigel Farage did with his delegates out in the what's it called, where they all met there with the European Union folks, and Nigel Farage just let him have it. It was pretty glorious. It was hilarious. They started waving the little, the UK flags and pissed off the EU people so much. They were like angry, really, really angry, really angry. It was so funny. Like you could see the visual seething of the woman. It was really, really funny. And I think the biggest takeaway for me is kind of what Nigel Farage was saying. Is like when people signed up for the European Union, they didn't sign up for this bleeding away of sovereignty. Yeah, that's right, Mom Patch. They cut off his mic because he quote unquote violated the rule. Because if you're part of the European Union, you can't even show your own freaking flag. I mean, what kind of dumb rule is that to begin with? That's mind-boggling, frankly. So, if I was French or I was German or I'm Italian and I represent my country and I go to the European Union there where they're discussing all this kind of stuff, I can't show my little Italian flag or my little German flag or my little French. Why? If it's part of Europe, is that part of Europe anyways? It's stupid. Absolutely stupid. But Nigel Farage brought up a very good point, because he was talking about how even his own mother and his own parents supported the European Union when it was implemented, because they were sold a bill of goods. They were sold an open market. They were sold an economical boon for Europe. What this open market turned out to be was a lie, a straight out lie, because they wanted sovereignty, they wanted power, they wanted unfettered power without any sort of check or balance. And Nigel Farage said something that I thought was one of the funniest things I heard in a while, and he was talking about what's going on right now. And I'm going to kind of paraphrase because I'm not going to quote him verbatim, but what he was saying was that what's happening right now is globalism versus populism. And believe it or not, populism is pretty popular, and it's gaining in popularity. And it was a pretty good line. And it's true. And it's very true. Populism, people want control of their own lives. They want their own countries to have sovereignty. It's this whole concept of manifest destiny, you know? And I I would love to see other countries. I would love to see other countries take control of their own country again. Take the power back in their hands. And whatever the consequences may be, it may be a good consequence, it may be a bad consequence, but at least a country that at least the people of that country can put forth their own vision of what their future should be, and they should be able to do that. They should be able to do that without having all unaccounted for, unelected bureaucrats that are trying to control the very lives of every single individual just up there. They should be able to do that without these people there. And there has been talk for a while. Yes, there has been talk for a while for Italy, Hungary. There's a lot of countries that are already like France. A lot of people in France are complaining about the EU. Italy, they're complaining about the EU. Germany, I don't know so much if they're complaining about it, because Germany pretty much is the EU. So that's Germany's new way of basically conquering the world, was through the EU. So I don't know if there's ever going to be a German exit of that kind. But there has been some talk about Ital exit, and some other countries, like I think Norway was one of them, I heard. So I don't know. There's France. There are countries that are talking about already getting out. There's been talk for years about getting out of the European Union. So I pray that this is the first of many other countries that will that'll get away from the European Union, and I do hope that the European Union will collapse, because it has been nothing but a disaster. Economically, it's been a disaster on human rights, of their freedoms and freedoms of speech, freedom of expression. It's been a disaster in individual countries' sovereignties, wanting to just make decisions for their own country. This whole migrant crisis was made 100 times worse by the European Union. Yes, and that is very true. Slut G Dante Chosen 114. Is that your name? Hopefully I said that correctly. The European Union is already collapsing. You say that the European Union is already collapsing. They lost so many elections. Italy, they were demolished. That's absolutely true. And they tried to do this coup where they ousted Salvini in Italy, but there's going to be another election coming up, and so that's probably just going to turn around. That's probably going to get all situated now again and go back to a more populist government, because not a lot of people are happy. So we'll see what happens with that. Well, hopefully some sanity, little by little, will seep into the world again. Because that's what's happening here, and this is why you see what's happening in the United States as well. You have quite the spectacle and theater in the Senate right now, mostly because these globalists, socialists, communists, people that want to squash democracy and a government by the people, for the people. It's this epic battle that we're experiencing. We're caught in the middle of this. We're caught in the middle of this nonsense, where you have people like Adam Schiff and Jerry Nadler and Pelosi, who want to essentially eliminate an election. They want to reverse the will of the people because Orange Man bad. They want to remove a president, a sitting president, without any other legitimate reason to do so. There's no crime. There was no there. The articles of impeachment are a joke. They're an absolute joke. These people, these people are ridiculous. If you listen to, like, I've been listening to the entire impeachment Senate hearing right now, or I guess it's not really a hearing; it's a Senate trial. So you had 24 hours, so 2-3 days worth of the House managers who put forward their case, if you want to call it that. Really wasn't much of a case. And then you had Trump's defense team, who also had 24 hours to express their side of the argument. And tomorrow, what's going to happen as of this stream, because for those that are replaying this, this will be way after the fact. But as of the streaming that's happening right now, tomorrow, Friday, they're going to vote on whether witnesses should be allowed. So right now, after the 24-hour and 24 hours of both sides, you've had nothing but the left. The House managers have been doing nothing but putting forth absolute nonsense and insisting on more witnesses. And one of the funniest admissions to me was Adam Schiff himself essentially saying, we need witnesses. We need the Senate to do our investigative work. We need the Senate to do everything that we were supposed to do because, frankly, our process was garbage. I mean, he didn't use those words, but he pretty much said that. And to me, that was one of the funniest things I ever heard in my life. Not gonna lie. it was pretty damn funny for a sitting House of Representative, a House manager for an impeachment trial, the chair of the Intelligence Committee in the House, standing up before not only the Senate, but before our nation and saying, I don't know how to do my job because I was so partisan in my job that I had to rush through this stuff. I didn't want to give anybody due process. I didn't want to wait for any court decisions. I didn't want to do anything using the proper protocols and channels. So I just pushed this nonsense forward. And here we are now. We are here where we produced articles of impeachment that are an absolute joke and travesty. There is nothing in there that's even remotely impeachable, but you guys should redo the whole thing because, you know, if we get more people to witness, to testify, maybe we'll find something that we can tack on. Maybe. There's this ludicrous claim. This is the also ludicrous claim that Schiff and the House managers have been making, that the White House, the administration has been doing just a blanket obstruction. They had this blanket opposition, no real reason for it. They just said, "Oh, we don't want to do it because we think what you're doing is wrong," which is absolutely untrue. The House started putting forth subpoenas without the authority to do so. The Trump administration, the legal offices sent Schiff letters saying, and sent the House letters saying, we're not going to respond to these subpoenas because you guys didn't do it right. Exactly, yeah. They basically were saying, well, they're not gonna, at least from what I last heard, the SG Dante says they admit they did illegal things. Wow. In a way, they pretty much did. Because, Schiff didn't come out and say, I did this illegally. He keeps saying, oh, Trump is just not doing things, not collaborating. And instead of going through the mediation processes and all the different processes to try and get what he wanted, to go through the courts and try to get the decision down for whatever they need, they just went from 0 to 80 basically in the DeLorean. They basically went from, we're going to start this process. There was some pushback from the Trump administration, from the executive branch. Impeachment. Like, they basically escalated it to the extreme because that was their goal to begin with anyways. I mean, let's be honest. Let's be frank. They're handing out pens like party favors. They're smiling and giggling and partying and celebrating. This isn't a solemn occasion. This isn't something that's grave. This isn't something that weighs heavily on them. Ever since Trump got elected, Democrats have been saying nothing but, we're going to get him out of the office. We're going to get rid of this guy. We're going to impeach him. We're going to impeach the MFer. You have people like Tlaib. That's what she was saying. I'm sorry, that sounds pretty partisan to me. That sounds like a foregone conclusion before any crime was even done. If there even was a crime, which there wasn't. So we're back at square one now, where you have, excuse me, where you have the Democrats just going, he just is a corrupt individual. He's just abusing power. Yet they can't provide a single thread of a real crime that was committed. It's just ludicrous. It's ludicrous to the extreme. So we're now I think they're still deliberating. They're still doing the question and answer thing. I think they're still doing that right now. I don't think it's stopped. I'm not gonna put it up because I don't want anyone to try and copyright strike me or anything like that. So I'm just gonna talk about it, and that's it. I'm not gonna put up any materials or anything like that because lo and behold, I'm gonna get another email from Twitch, and I'm gonna get another email from YouTube, or I'm gonna get an email from Periscope, and it's gonna be a mess for me, frankly, and I just don't want to deal with that. In fact, I'm taking a quick look right now in my email just to be sure that I haven't gotten anything yet, because holy crap. I just had like 2 platforms slap me in the face last time. But everything seems to be working okay now. And actually, one thing that I should be doing here, let me take a look. I'm going to go over to my... Wait, what was that? Okay, I thought something was offline for a second. That's good. No problem. I'm going to check my little chat thing here because I can connect to all my chat through Restream. So, I think the audio is that little... I hear some weird audio in my headphones sometimes. I think it's coming from my computer, actually. I think it's getting some feedback, which kind of disappoints me that this is not shielded enough for that. Maybe that's the issue here. I don't know. I'll have to figure it out. But... I'm trying to think if there are some other interesting things that happened regarding to this whole impeachment thing. And one interesting thing was there were actually questions directed about the whistleblower, which raised a question in my mind because Rand Paul brought up some questions about the whistleblower, and Chief Justice Roberts actually shut the question down. He didn't read it. He shut down Rand Paul. And he said that, they're not going to ask questions that could reveal the identity of the whistleblower. But the question to me is this. It's like, well, wait a minute. If you saw names in the question that had nothing really to do with the whistleblower, it was just asking about Democrat staffers. And there were a couple names in the Democrat staffers. My question is this. The question did not refer to a whistleblower. It referred to Democrat staffers. How would Chief Justice Roberts know that those names could be revealing the name of the whistleblower? If the identity of the whistleblower is supposed to be an unknown. Thank you, sir, for the lemons. Thank you. Much appreciated. Thank you. Actually, does the audio come? Oh, I have my audio muted. I'm sorry. I'm sorry. Now you should be able to hear it. I love lemon grabs. And I should have that. Yep, that should be visible. So, but there you go. So, so that just raises more questions in my mind because you had Schiff lying it through his teeth as he usually does. He was saying, "Oh, I don't know the identity of the whistleblower," which is baloney. Everybody knows that's baloney. There we go. Thank you, sir. Thank you, Trainwave. Um, so it doesn't make sense. It doesn't make sense at all. It really doesn't make any sense at all that Chief Justice Roberts would say, "No, this question can't be asked because it has the name Eric Sharamella in it, and that's gonna reveal the it could possibly reveal the name of the whistleblower." So that means he knows who it is. That means he pretty much confirmed that one of those two jokers that was in the question. That pretty much confirms it. That it's one of those two guys. If he doesn't want to say the name of those two Democrat staffers, which right after they said that they're going to do everything to get rid of Trump, they get hired in to deal with this issue. And that was Rand Paul's question, actually. He was asking, like, why did these guys get hired in? Like, what kind of work? Like, how did these get all involved in this impeachment thing? You know? And he has every legitimate reason to ask it. The American people should know. There really should be more transparency about all these processes that are happening behind closed doors. Then you have other people that are like playing the victim. You have Susan Collins, who she's saying that she's getting death threats and she's getting nasty voicemails. And there's an article out there where she was sharing some of these voicemails, and some of them were pretty inappropriate. I mean, they're saying death threats to her family, her staffers. And that I don't agree with. I think that's crossing a line. If you don't agree with a senator, or you're saying, and the funniest part was this, actually. The funniest part of this whole thing was actually that these threats were coming from Democrats, because they were saying that if she doesn't vote for witnesses, she should have deadly consequences. Thank you, sir. So, it's really ridiculous that you can't that senators can't even have a modicum of like civility towards them if you disagree with them. Now, I disagree with a lot of the Democrats, for example. I disagree with a lot of the Democrats. Well, and that's the thing too, Slut Gigante. You're absolutely right. Those death threats are lies. The other Democrats call to make it look like it's Republicans don't believe the death threats, and I agree with that. And the thing is this: there's two sides of that coin. One, especially with Susan Collins. One thing with Susan Collins is that she's supposedly a Republican, but she's hardly ever voted along Republican lines. Now, I don't necessarily mean that if you're a Republican, you have to vote Republican. I don't necessarily, I'm not necessarily pushing that sort of thing. However, what I am saying is that if you're claiming to be a Republican, it would make sense if you actually act like one. You actually talk like a Republican. You actually go along with Republican talking points, and you actually seem to believe in the main tenets of what it means to be a conservative, what it means to be a Republican. It's kind of like John McCain. When John McCain was alive, he was supposedly a moderate Republican, which is nonsense. It's nonsense. He was involved in getting this whole Steele dossier thing going. He was not a moderate. He was not a Republican. He was left leaning, basically. And he was possibly a communist too. I don't know. He was also meeting with terrorist groups. There's pictures of him with these terrorist leaders. There's a lot of weird things with the McCains. Okay, there's a lot of weird things with the McCains. So maybe one day we'll try and do a deep dive into the McCains and see if we can sort out some of the weirdness. I don't know. Maybe we will. Maybe we won't. Maybe we'll do it as a one of the NCAP topics that I've spoken about before. Like one NCAP topic that we talked about was debating and debate tactics and things of that nature. So maybe we can do that. I don't know. We'll see. But yeah, I mean, you have people like McCain. You have people like Mitt Romney. Mitt Romney is an absolute moron. I mean, it's beyond reproach what a moron this individual is. No doubt in my mind. And what do people do in Utah? Of course, because he's Mormon, they vote him into the Senate. No other reason. No other qualification. That's it. Large Mormon population. Oh, he's Mormon. Vote him in. I mean, did they not see what a joke and weakling he was during the campaign when he was trying to run against Obama? Tom, I am a bit waver. Anyway, I think I missed something here in chat. What's going on? But anyway, so you have these people that claim to be Republicans and they're not. I mean, see, to me, if they're just honest, they should just be honest. They should say, we're independent. We're not Republican. You know, they should just do that. That's what it is. I would actually appreciate it more if they were just honest with people. Don't call yourself Republican if you're not going to act like a Republican. If you're going to act like a rhino, just say what you are. I'm an independent. Yeah, but I definitely not. The FBI says honesty doesn't get them votes. Well, you know what? Maybe at one point it was like that, but I think Trump has kind of changed that sort of thing, because whatever you can say about Trump, whether you like him or you don't like him, you have to admit that he is a candid individual in the sense that he just tells it how it is. He just puts out what his beliefs are. He puts out what he thinks is wrong, what you think should be doing, what he thinks you shouldn't be doing. He's just a candid individual, and I think that they should be candid as well. Well, I don't. I'm sorry for the silence. I was just reading about what Slut G Dante was reading here. Was writing. I mean, he says they are not independent. They are communists. If they said that, they wouldn't get votes. So they need to say independent or Republican. They can't say they are Nazis. Also, well, that's true. I mean, obviously, you're not gonna have what's his name, Spencer, go around because he was a Nazi. Not a Nazi. I mean, he's a white supremacist KKK guy, and say, "Oh, I'm part of the KKK. Vote me into the Senate." I get it. I get it. You're not gonna get a lot of votes if you're honest. But the thing is this. I think that if they really believe in what they believe, whatever it is, it can be something that they believe in that is good. They can believe in something that is evil. They can believe in something that is constitutional. They can believe in breaking the law. They can believe in anarchy. That's fine. That's fine. Whatever you believe in, though, if you really feel that there's legitimacy to your beliefs, trying to get into a situation to start change with a dishonest foundation, it's kind of like getting into a relationship with someone. If you start a relationship with a lie, there's a good chance you're going to have to keep lying and lying and lying throughout that entire relationship. And eventually you're going to not be able to keep up with all those lies, and the relationship is just going to collapse. Same thing in politics. Same thing if you lie on your resume. There's only so much lying you can do. Eventually your lies will catch up to you. And that's what's happening to a lot of politicians right now, especially on the left. Their hypocrisy, the sheer hypocrisy of the left is just mind-blowing. It's astounding. It's astounding, ladies and gentlemen. It's mind-blowing. The stuff that they would say, literally, and this isn't even years ago. We're talking about a month ago. We're talking about a week ago. We're talking about in the span of hours. You had in hearings, these impeachment hearings, you had the left contradicting themselves within the span of hours. And they were showing their hypocrisy within the span of hours. Really blows your mind. Really blows your mind when you think about it. So, the silver lining about all this is not most likely, I think it's pretty much in the bag that Trump is going to get acquitted. He pretty much is going to get acquitted. There's nothing there. There was nothing with the Russia hoax and the Mueller report. There was nothing in the Steele dossier that was true. Everything in the FISA courts were abused and were false. There's nothing verified in any other of the dossier. Everything that they keep trying to pin onto the Trump and the Trump administration has turned out to just show the sheer corruption, the anti-American sentiment, the treasonous and traitorous behaviors of bureaucrats within our organization, spying on the Trump administration during the campaign. I mean, it's amazing, the stuff that has come to light. Now, I knew that there was corruption in government. I knew that. Everybody knows that. I mean, that's not surprising to anybody, really. It really isn't. But the sheer level, that's really what gets to me more than anything. It's the sheer level of corruption and how much it has permeated within our governmental institutions. That it's just, wow. It's just amazing to me that all the way to the top of the CIA, all the way to the top of the FBI. You had high-level bureaucrats in the IRS. You had, under the Obama administration, incredibly corrupt AGs with Holder and Loretta Lynch. And they were trying to pad the courts. You had administration running these weapons, Fast and Furious. Got Americans killed. Didn't want to hand over any documents. Didn't want to hand over anything that Congress was asking to see what the heck happened there. Democrats didn't care. You had Benghazi. Sheer incompetence. No, not incompetence. No. Let's not say incompetence, because incompetence would imply that they just didn't know how to do their job well. No, this is not incompetence. This is deliberate. This is deliberate negligence. deliberate bad choices because you're looking for some sort of political glory and kickback, and it costs the life of an ambassador and people that work there in the embassy. So that's where we're at. That's where we're at. You know? So we're at this point where yeah, you know, we're at this point where the left has just lost their minds. And we're at this point where there is a sheer giant abuse of any branch of government, any office or institution that they have their hands on, in any shape, way, or form. They are trying to use it to silence people. They're trying to use it to reverse an election that they just didn't like that happen. And I used to think very highly of our founding fathers, and I still do. I still think that these men had incredible foresight and incredible depth in their process of putting together a country and putting together the Constitution and laws and everything. I feel that they really are a very intelligent men, and they sacrificed a lot to give us the country that we have today. But there is one thing that it's disappointing to me. And it's not that they didn't think about this. In the Federalist Papers, which I'm actually reading right now, I haven't gone through all of them, but I am going through them right now. Sorry, I had to kick on my fan here for the thing was getting a little hot. My laptop was getting a little hot here. But the thing that disappoints me is that they did think about how branches of governments could be abused with majorities, or they're trying to avoid a perfectly like a purely partisan impeachment or other things of that nature. It just seems to me that we are a hair away from just a rogue branch of government. Could you imagine if for any reason Democrats win seats in the House and gain a majority? Can you imagine that? If the Senate had a Democratic majority, along with the House majority that they have right now, it would be insane. It would be purely insane. They would impeach Trump if that's. This is what's at stake, really. This election cycle, we need to retain, like the conservatives, Republicans need to retain the House. Retain the Senate. I'm sorry. They need to retain the Senate, and if not, gain more seats. They need to regain control of the House, because this is not going away. Once Trump is acquitted, and then the election happens, and he's probably going to win. I'm fairly confident he is. All the polls are showing that, and all the candidates, the few candidates that could go head to head with them, just they're ridiculous. Warren is ridiculous. There's no way that she could beat Trump. Biden is a bumbling fool. Buttigieg doesn't have any sort of coalition or support. Yang is a joke. Steyer, nobody's ever heard of this guy. And then you got, Biden, Bernie, who's a freaking communist. And it's going to boil down to this, I think. It's going to boil down to It's going to be between Bernie and Biden. And the problem is, if you get Bernie up there, and I've talked about this in my previous stream, and I'm just going to kind of recap a little bit. If you get Bernie up there as the Democrat candidate, the big problem that you're going to run into is this. Most Democrats are not socialists. Most Democrats aren't communists. They are very left-leaning. But the policies that Bernie is pushing forward, he's pretty much pushing forward pure socialism and communism. That's really what he's pushing forward. And then you have Warren stepping right behind him, going, yeah, let's do that. Yeah. Socialism, woo! She's doing that exact same thing. So if he goes up there as the candidate, that is going to splinter the party in such a way that they will never have the votes to recover. The Democrat Party at that point, there are some moderates out there, like your average. I'm talking about your average voter. Your average voter is not, like Dispatch says, I refuse to believe all Dems are commies. Many are, but the thing is, not many use that as their political platform. The Democrat Party today is not the Democrat Party of even 5 years ago, or the Democrat Party of 10 years ago, 20 years ago. As time has progressed, the party has moved farther and farther left, while people have not moved as quickly as the party have. There's only big cities like that are very, very blue, like New York City or Los Angeles. Those are like really, really blue areas, obviously, and those are the really, really crazy socialist areas. And just look what's happening. You got homeless problems everywhere. You have people defecating on the streets in California. People are moving out of California because it's that bad. So, Democrats, you have an opportunity here to remove these terrible Democrat candidates on all levels, Senate, House, local elections. You have an opportunity. You definitely have an opportunity here to fix the situation on a local, regional, state, and now with this election coming up at a federal level. We need to get the Senate back. We need to get the vote out there. I always say this at the end of my streams. Don't be complacent, kids. Do not assume for one moment that they're not going to do everything in their power to negate your vote. You go out there, you vote, you bring people to vote with you. For every person that goes to the polls, bring 2 with you to vote for Trump. You got to do that. You got to do that. Because the system is going to be working against you. They're gonna put dead people on the polls to vote for the Democrats. They're gonna change the party affiliate your party affiliations. They're gonna try and get illegals to vote. They're gonna bust people in, which they've admitted to do in Senate elections. This is the big reason why I keep saying, and I've tweeted this many times to everybody on Twitter, and I've tagged senators, I've tagged the president, I've tagged many people. We need voter ID. We need some way to ensure the integrity of our elections. And that's, to me, the only way. It's the only way. No, Dispatch, it's not that you would vote for a dead person. It's that the dead are made to vote for the Democrats. But anyways, that's what it boils down to here. What we're experiencing now is sort of an existential crisis. This is an existential crisis, and it's an identity crisis. You have to ask yourself this question. Do you want the United States, the great bastion of democracy, that light on the hill? Do you want the only constitution, the only country that has a constitution that enshrines God-given rights of defense in the Second Amendment, freedom of religion and speech in the First, that gives people a voice? Do you really want this country to turn into another South American socialist country? Or turn into another China? Or turn into another monarchy like in England? Where you can get arrested for posting something on Facebook that someone may find offensive? Because, ooh, you criticized Islam. Sorry, just need to. I just sent something in the chat there. Sorry, just having some technical difficulty. I'm still here, no dead air. I just noticing my connection is getting wonky again. Yeah, it's still in the red. But anyways, we'll try and power through this technical issue. But what I was gonna summarize here at the end of this whole discussion was the United States is a very unique experiment in history. And whoops, I think my computer just chimed. It's a unique experiment. It's one of the first, if not the first, representative governments, really, like truly representative, where the people had an actual say in what their government was doing. And I think that it would behoove us to keep that in mind. Everybody, and I'm not just talking about conservatives here, I'm talking about even leftists, Democrats, independents, and even leftists, people that are left-leaning. I would say, think about it for a moment. I know you want, the government to control your lives. I get that. Making decisions is hard. Being an adult, I know, difficult. But at the same time, it's like you have to consider your country for a moment, and you have to consider things that are kind of outside your little bubble. It's not always about you. The left keeps arguing about climate change, about future generations. They're leaving horrible things to our future generations. Yeah, and you know what those those horrible things are that we're leaving to our future generations? We're eroding their freedoms. We're eroding their rights. So it's something that you have to really think about this and go, sure, fine. I have my ideological things that I want. So do I. The left has theirs, the right has theirs. But at the end of the day, what you have to consider is this. Do you really want to change the fundamental fabric of this country? Do you really want to change things to the point where you're taking away freedoms from people? And you're actually hurting people? You're actually hurting people this way. You're going to hurt those future generations you keep clamoring about. Saying, oh, think of the children. Well, you don't seem to think about it when it comes to future governments. Don't you want your kids to be able to express themselves without fear of persecution? Don't you want your children to be able to believe in whatever religion they want to believe? Shouldn't they have the choice? Shouldn't they have the choice to live their lives the way they want? Shouldn't they be able to defend themselves if they're on campus and someone is trying to mug them or rape them or something like that? Shouldn't they be able to defend themselves? I would think so. Maybe that's just me, but I would like to think so. I think that America is a very unique country. Is it perfect? No. No country's perfect. Dispatch is asking, are you saying they should be able to choose a dick up the ass too? Well, you know, freedom means they can make. Let's put it this way: having freedom means you are free to make the wrong choices too. In order to have the good, you have to have the bad. Do I agree with a decision of that kind? No. I don't. Dispatch is saying what you're saying is they should take a dick up the ass within the closet. Well, listen, if they want to do that, it's their lives. Okay, it's kind of like my philosophy when it comes to tattoos and piercings. I think tattoos and piercings are one of the stupidest things on this planet. You going to willingly put ink in your skin or poke holes in your flesh, that's stupid. That's absolutely stupid. There is nothing to justify that. If you want to do it though, you're free to do that. But that doesn't eliminate the fact that it's stupid. And it doesn't eliminate the fact that it's a bad decision. And it doesn't eliminate the fact that I can criticize that. And I'm free to criticize that because I also have my freedom. And that's what it boils down to. That's really what it boils down to. And that's one of the beautiful things about freedom and free speech. Is that you can express your opinion. You can express yourself. You can, without fear of being persecuted by your own government. And and you should be able to live your life. You should be able to live your life without having government breathe down your neck or have other people breathe down your neck for a wrong think. I mean, what is that? What is that? That's ridiculous. What's happened in the UK? What happens in the UK that if I post something against if I make a comment, for example, against the Quran, oh, now all of a sudden I'm going to be persecuted by the UK government. They're going to arrest me because I posted something on social media. Really? No, that's absolutely stupid. Well, Dispatch said you said that you're persecuted by trolls daily. Well, Dispatch, between you and me, you kind of deserve it a little bit. Just saying. Mom Patch can back me up on that. All right. So, just saying. No Troutery? No. The persecution continues. Are you gonna be? Hey, at least consider this, Dispatch. You're not gang stalked like Kitty. See, Mom Patch got my back. It's self-inflicted. She's right. She's right. By the way, for those that are on other platforms that are listening to me that may not be on bitwave.tv, I'm interacting very much with the chat that you see on the screen here. So if you want to chime in, I mean, I have chats on the other platforms. Hi, Michael Monroe from YouTube. Uh, what guy? Are you talking about me? No wonder this guy is talking to himself. I'm a Republican, but I will never teach my kids that lying is good. I never said lying is good. Never, actually. uh, I don't believe in that. I don't believe lying is good in any shape, way, or form. I think that honesty is the best policy. Honestly, no pun intended. But it's better. It's better just to be honest about things. As I was saying before, it's just not. It's not wise to start to base things off of lies. Um, Speaking of Israelis, because you say the eternal Israel's here. um, let's talk about that. Actually, we can end my stream with that. I've already been streaming for over an hour, so we can use the deal of the century entry for as the end cap for this stream. So President Donald Trump, along with Bibi Netanyahu, put together this two-state solution and labeled it the deal of the century. And honestly, it's an interesting solution to this whole Middle East problem. It's very interesting because many attempts in the past have been made to try and resolve this. Guys, don't get me banned. Don't get me banned on YouTube. Come on, play nice. Anyways, going back to what I was talking about. There's been a lot of attempts in the past with different plans to try and get this whole Middle East area situated. The United States have been involved in this for far too long, in my opinion. There's many opinions about how to resolve it. Some people say just to turn the Middle East into glass. Yeah, you gotta take the good with the bad. That's true, Dispatch. I just said that. That's true. I gotta live by my own words, huh? I know, Cobra Commander. The rate limiting is messing with your freedom of speech. Blame Dispatch. He's in charge of that. Anyways, what I was saying is that there's been many attempts at trying to figure out what would be a good deal to resolve this Middle East conflict. And of all the deals, I don't know if this is truly the deal of the century. I don't know if this is truly the best deal possible. What I do know, though, is looking at the deal. Cleric is saying you insulted the Prophet Muhammad and the Holy Quran for the last time, Kaik. Have I? Well, I mean, it's not like I said anything along the lines of that Islam is founded by a pedophile. I didn't say anything like that. So I don't think I did anything wrong. Anyways. Oh well. I get reported all the time. I'm used to it. But what? What, Dispatch? You say you have one favorite and it's Mark? It's not even your own mother? It's not even your own... You don't love your mother? What is the matter with you, Dispatch? Are you seeing this, Mom Patch? There's just no respect for the mom patch. I, oh, damn. That's harsh, my friend. Oh, dispatch is saying, nah, mom gets fucked by the rate limiter too. Oh boy. Oh boy. Alt-Reich is saying, what did Muhammad, blessed be his name, ever do to you, the Eternal Abyss? Well, he directly has not done anything to me because he died a long time ago. Thank God. But his followers have definitely pestered me. I have a lot of stories about, I don't hide the fact that I'm Catholic. It's on my Twitter profile. And the fact that I'm Catholic makes me a bit of a target with certain circles of people. And one of those circles happens to be certain folks that follow Islam. Now, I'm not saying that all Muslims have mistreated me. That's not true. Certain Muslims have been incredibly nice, respectful, genuinely had a good civil conversation with me, and there was nothing wrong with it. It was absolutely fine. But you had some that would just come up to me and they would just start insulting me, just for the fact that I happen to be Catholic. Now, listen, I don't care if someone agrees or disagrees with the fact that I'm Catholic. What I do have a problem with is if you just come up and start insulting me without any sort of need, you know, or any sort of legitimacy behind your insults, because I didn't even know who these people were. I had no idea. So that's where the issue comes for me. That's where I start having problems and with anybody, and I'm talking about anybody in terms of their politics, their beliefs, their opinions, anything, you know. Is that right, Dispatch? Dispatch says I'm gay. Well, between you and me, Dispatch, the only person whose mother called him a faggot was you, I'm afraid. My mom has never called me that. Just saying. I love you, Dispatch. Anyways, no, that's where the problem lies with any sort of ideology. Yeah, see, sorry, I calls them how I sees them. Anyways. But when it comes to like ideologies of any kind, be it based on religion, based on politics, based on weird indoctrinations of any kind, if you can't have a sit down with someone of a different point of view and just have a civil discussion with them, you just have to go straight for the ad hominems and to insult them. I'm sorry, you have no legitimacy to your argument at that point, in my opinion. I don't gay love Dispatch. I love him as a acquaintance that I know over the internet and maintains Bitwave. As long as he maintains Bitwave and makes sure that my connection stops staying in the red, which I still see right now, I'll have positive feelings towards him. If I still see red, I'll have negative feelings towards him. That's really what it boils down to. Yeah, as long as Bitwave works and it doesn't go down. That doesn't bode well for the future, Dispatch, if you say that it ain't gonna last long if it's based on your maintenance of Bitwave. It was nice while it lasted. That's right, Dispatch. I agree. Um, no, I don't care about the tribute stream because I'm not gonna look at that herb because it's just it's. I don't care. You guys can do whatever you want. That doesn't bother me. Have fun. Pretend, mock, do what you want to do. I'm not kiddie. I'm not the kind of person that spurgs over that kind of stuff. Definitely not. The FBI says first we have Fuentes and the Cat Boy. Now we have Abyss with Dispatch. Somebody needs to resign with rein in the Kathy homo law. Well, I mean, you guys need to make up your minds. First, you were complaining, saying that I was hitting on Mom Patch. Now you're saying I'm gay over Dispatch. I mean, you guys got to really make up your mind whether I'm straight or gay or not. I mean, if you're gonna try and nail me one way or the other, no pun intended. No pun intended. I don't know what Mom Patch looks like. I haven't seen her picture, so I don't know. I'm not privy to that information apparently. So Cobra Commander says we have Mom Patch's picture. Why not both? I don't know, because all I know is that I'm just I'm a straight guy. That's all I know. Luciano sexual. We'll just add that to the LGBTQ2 alpha silent number H, things like that. We could add that to the list. It's high art. It's okay. All right. I'll take a look. Let me click on it. Let's see. Why am I not surprised? I am not surprised at the sheer amount of male genitalia that I'm seeing in this stream. Wow. Kirby, why did we have to get Kirby involved too? Come on. Kirby? Really? What in the world? What does Kirby have to do with it? Wow. See, you know what's sad for me when I look at something like this is that you guys actually spent time on this. That's the funniest part for me. You wasted the precious little time you have on this earth. That's what you decide to do with it. So hey, you know what? Whatever. Have fun. It's all right. I don't care. Oh my god! I still can't believe you got Kirby involved in that. Yeah, I walked into that one, Nietzsche, nigga, didn't I? That's taken out of context. Worth it, yeah. I suppose so. I don't know. But anyways, I lost track of what I was saying. What was I talking about? Oh, the deal of the century. That's what I was talking about. Let's get back to that so I can wrap up my stream because I gotta go. I have to get up. I'm gonna try and get up really, really, really early tomorrow morning because I got a lot of stuff that I gotta do early in the morning. So I'm gonna try and call it an early night as much as I can. So what it boils down to with this deal is it's basically a two-state solution. As it has been talked about before. This isn't like a excuse me. This isn't a brand new concept. It's been discussed. It's been talked about. It's never been formally proposed though, because there has been a lot of, not a lot of, but there has been certain groups of people that on push back on a two-state solution. Now, I think it's a viable solution. It is possible that it could work, but the thing is, it is going to involve different parties. You have to have both sides on the table here. You have to have the Palestinians hop on board. And I think the good thing about this plan, is the time frames. It's giving the Palestinians enough time to really think about this, really get involved, and if they do want to do it, there's a good time frame for the plan to work out. It's not something that's rushed. It's not something that's like strong arming people in a certain way. And I think that it does have a chance to work if all parties involved actually want to make it work. Skull Crusher says Evan Ralph versus Abyss Bloodsport. I thought you said Ethan Ralph for a second. I just like regular nice debates. I'm not a big excuse me, I had something on my little screen here. I'm not a big fan of Bloodsport. I don't like yelling over other people. I don't see the point. I'd rather have a civil discussion. I suppose I like the Dinesh D'Souza's methodology of debate, where he's very methodical about how he replies. He doesn't yell over people. He just little by little pulls strings and tears people apart, and I like that. I like that method of debate because I think that's how debate should be. I think debate should be, and I talked about this in the end cap in my last video about how I think debating should be done, techniques about that. But I don't want to rehash what I already spoken about. But just kind of to conclude back on the on this deal of the century thing, I do think that it has a chance of success. I really do. How big a chance of success is there? Depends on a lot of factors. It depends on whether U.S. policy doesn't change. So, let's say after Trump, once Trump leaves the White House, and we have another president, whoever it may be, it could be a Republican, could be a Democrat. If what is established now, like the Golan Heights, for example, being under the control of Israel, the territories that Israel controls that they wanted, they have. If that remains, the recognition remains of that. If the mechanisms and proposals that are being put forward now continue on in perpetuity, then I would say there's a chance for this to survive. But if you have flip-flopping, if you have people being flaky, if you have United States retracting what Trump has done, that's where you start having problems. Now, like for example, there's the embassy in Jerusalem, for example. You can't back that out now. You have to keep that status quo. If the status quo is maintained, and all parties involved genuinely want peace, I think it could work. And I don't necessarily think that the Palestinians themselves need to be convinced in the sense that I don't think you have to go directly to them to try and get them to hop onto this deal. I think that all the surrounding neighbors can put pressure on them and say, you know what, this conflict has to end. We're talking about 50 plus $billion of investments for Palestine and Israel. And when you're bringing in all that money and investments into your country, that means prosperity for the people. That means jobs. That means higher wages. That means innovation. One of the reasons why we're doing well right now under Trump is because we've had over 500, I think about 700 or so $billion with the B as in boy. We've had billions of dollars of investments back into our country and into our economy and into our industry and our manufacturing. That's why our economy is booming right now. That's really why. So I think it would behoove everybody involved in the Middle East, if they really want America, for example, to not be involved in the Middle East anymore, because everybody in the Middle East keeps saying, oh, American imperialism, the white devil, we don't want them here. Fine. Get your shit together. Get your shit together. Get yourselves resolved. Get your issues all taken care of. Help your own people. Put your people first for a change. And there you go. America doesn't need to be involved anymore if you people get your act together. Really. That's really what it boils down to. No more, no less. So I think it would behoove everybody involved. And I think the international community needs to weigh in on this too, saying, and you already have had some people saying, like Boris Johnson from the UK. He said, "We're there. Whatever you need from the UK to make this work, we're there for you. We're gonna try and make this work." So you already have a positive international response. You have a positive international response, and I think that it would behoove them to really consider this. As much as they may not like a two-state solution like Palestinians themselves, I understand that that may not be the most ideal of solutions. I get that. But look at the big picture. There's been conflicts for what, 50, 60 years in the Middle East because of this whole territorial thing with Israel. I think it's time to stop. I think it's time to really look ahead. It's got to stop, and it's got to stop on all sides. It's really got to stop. Because people are dying. Our soldiers are dying. European soldiers are dying. Other people are dying there in the Middle East. People are dying because these guys keep fighting. They can't get their act together and work a peace deal out. So I wish for the best. I do hope that this plan, actually, this deal of the century, truly is the deal of the century, and it resolves that situation. At least brings some stability to the Middle East, so we don't have to go there and keep giving them money, first of all, because we don't need to keep funding them. We don't need to keep. Why are taxpayer dollars going there? We have enough problems in the U.S. We need to keep our taxpayer money here. We don't need to keep giving money to all these different countries out there. We don't. We need to help countries. If we want to help countries, let's help countries help themselves. Mexico, for example, the policies that Trump put forth that forced Mexico to start getting their act together when it came to the immigration, it worked. It worked. Mexico is finally stopping all these like caravans and actually putting military on the ground there to stop these guys. It actually worked. I say great. And I think that we should have that sort of philosophy when it comes to dealing with other countries. We can't just keep pouring an infinite amount of money into countries that are going into this black hole. That's really what it boils down to. We give money and aid to all these countries, which, if we didn't give aid to the Ukraine, and we actually helped the Ukraine, for example, be a country where they didn't need our aid. They had the resources to defend themselves without needing us to really assist much. Maybe we provide some backup, some clout, standing behind them, going, hey, don't mess with them or you'll mess with us kind of deal. Instead of having to actually spend all this money. Wouldn't that be much better? Wouldn't it be much better if each country had enough resources to defend themselves without having to leech and off the teat of the United States, for example? I think that would be a good thing. I really do. But hey, that's the situation we find ourselves in right now. So I think that this deal is worth pursuing. I think it's worth looking into. I think that of all the deals and all the kind of proposals, peace talks that have happened in the past, I do think that this is a good one. At least as good as you're going to get right now. So we'll see what happens. We'll see what happens with that. I hope for the best. And with that, I think I'm going to conclude my stream. And I want to thank everybody on all the different platforms that I was streaming on here, on D Live, on YouTube, on Periscope, on Twitch, and most importantly, on bitwave.tv. Thank you all for watching. Thank you all for interacting. You guys make this fun. And if you could please spread the word, subscribe, follow, hit that bell icon in the different platforms. You have to follow to get the notifications. And follow me on all my social media. I am on Twitter. I am on Gab. I am on Parlay or Parler, however it's pronounced. I'm on Minds. And you can find an archives of my videos on YouTube. And you can find archives of my videos on BitChute, which I'm a little behind on keeping up to date on my archiving. I know. I've just been insanely busy. Next week, I may not be able to stream because I'm going to be out of town. I don't know if I'll have... I'm not going to bring my entire rig with me. So I may... I don't know. I don't know. I'm going to be in a different time zone. I don't know. I probably won't, and I'll stream when I come back. I think that's probably the best solution. So don't count on a stream next Thursday, but the Thursday after that. And if you're feeling generous in any shape, way, or form, any level of generosity is accepted. Please support streamers like myself. We need your support. Follow, share, and support. Any sort of financial support is also appreciated. Streamlabs.com/TheEternalAbyss. I appreciate anything. And I appreciate each and every viewer, each and every contributor here. Thank you very much. Have a wonderful night. And remember always, kids, don't be complacent. If you're complacent, that's how they take over. Have a wonderful night, everybody.